Welcome back to another video. My name is Matt and I help people overcome retroactive jealousy. In this video, we're going to be talking about the write two letters exercise, retroactive jealousy exercise. It was actually brought forth in Zachary Stockill's book called Overcoming Retroactive Jealousy. And in this book, he presents this exercise and says this was one of the most powerful exercises that he ever did. And actually doing this really helped him see through his ego, kind of chomp through his ego, help him just see things in a more clear light, able to rationalize things a little bit more when he was able to do this exercise. So he really promotes it in his book. This was the first book I ever read on retroactive jealousy, so obviously I tried this exercise as well, and I want to share what I think of that exercise and what it did for me. So before we do, if you could take a quick moment and smash the like button on this video, that'll get it out to more people that really need to see it. I'd greatly appreciate it. So obviously when I was suffering very badly from retroactive jealousy, my worst again was in the summer of 2017. I typed in on Google, jealous of girlfriend's past or whatever, and sadly still to this day when you type that in, like, you get a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't make sense in like the first maybe 5 or 6 pages of talking about who knows what. And then finally, when you get down to like the 7th or 8th, you get retroactivejealousy.com, which is Zachary Stockill's website, Retroactive Jealousy. And so I found that and I was like, oh, and I clicked on it and I read and I was like, yeah, this is me. This is what's happening to me. Like, I need help with this. And so at that time he had his book, which was probably out for like 4 years at that point. I think it was like published in 2013, maybe 2014. So I bought the book on Amazon. It was like $9 or $9.99. And I read it, and there were so many things in the book that I did not understand that went right over my head because I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to understand it. Like, I really identified with my thoughts. I thought my thoughts were real. I thought my thoughts were me. I thought I had to go back and change things about the past or change certain things. And this book had just a bunch of different quotes about about our ego, and that our thoughts are like clouds in the sky, and we don't have to identify with our thoughts. We are not our thoughts, and all these things. And I was just like, what? I didn't understand it. I wasn't ready for it. And it's funny, like, now I go back and I read it now and I'm just like, wow, this is a very powerful book. But I remember having to read it like 5 times or so to really get my mind wrapped around these ideas. That's how powerful that book is. And still, like, I'll go back and read it occasionally just for fun. And still I see things, and things make much more sense to me now, which is like, wow. Okay, now I get that. Wow, like, look how I was before. That thing went way over my head. I would have never been able to understand this, and now I do. So it's a very powerful book. If you haven't read it, I suggest you purchase it. Like I said, it's like $9.99 or something, I think, on Amazon right now. Even if you're in a stage where you're not, where you're kind of getting over retroactive jealousy, buy it anyway to support Zachary. He puts in a ton of hard work on this stuff. He's got blogs on it. He's got YouTube videos on it. He's got books. He got a couple different books on it, some courses on it. And I'm sure this is not the only thing that he does. I'm sure he does other things too. So anyway, to kind of support the cause, people trying to get the word out with retroactive jealousy. He was the first one. If I hadn't ever discovered him, I wouldn't be doing this today. I would have never overcome retroactive jealousy with the stuff that I learned from him. Initially, especially about meditation and stuff like that. That was the first time I ever heard about meditation, was through that book, Overcoming Retroactive Jealousy, and that stuff ended up changing my life. So $9, $10 on Amazon. Buy it if you haven't already. Support Zach. Read the book. It's great. It's very, very powerful. Change the way you kind of see things, and maybe change some of the activities and stuff that you do on a normal basis, and help you overcoming retroactive jealousy on this journey. Now, one of the things he mentioned in this book was this exercise called write two letters. And this is the first time I read the book. This stuff made sense to me, like this part of, like, write 2 letters. What does this mean? I know what letters are. I can do that, right? And basically the idea is you do this in private. You don't share this with your partner or anything like that. But you write a letter to your partner, basically telling them everything you want to tell them, like getting all the anger, all the sadness, everything out, and tell her, him or her, your partner, exactly how you feel. I feel like you shouldn't have done this. This makes me feel like you betrayed me. This, da, 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 da. Write it all out. It can be as long as you want it to be. And then when you're done, you're going to write another letter. But in the second letter, you're actually going to pretend to be your partner. You're going to pretend to be your partner, and you're writing a response letter back to you, basically saying exactly what you want them to say, saying exactly what you want to hear. So, it could be something like, I'm so sorry for what happened. I hadn't, met you yet. So these things that I did, I would never do them now. Whatever it is, you need to hear, write it. And then the idea, he says, is to read the letter that your partner wrote back to you, every night before you go to bed or whatever it is, and to really kind of come to terms, rational terms with what's happening, and really maybe even kind of break through your ego, kind of calm yourself down, and be able to see like a compassionate side of your partner, and kind of just chomp through these thought cycles that we have that we can't break out of, just being able to see things with much clearer light. And I have his book here on my phone. I'll read exactly what the steps are to write this letter. This is from the book Overcoming Retroactive Jealousy by Zachary Stockill. Step 1, think about your partner and how they have wronged you. You might be genuinely angry about the choices your partner made in their past, and that's all right. Think about exactly why you are angry, sad, hurt, confused by your partner and their past without judging yourself for it. So that's step 1. Step 2, write your partner a letter in which you detail exactly what you wish you could say to them, and then sign it. Lay it all on the table. Leave absolutely nothing out. Be as honest as you can. Remember, this is your fantasy. And step 3, respond by writing a letter back to yourself in their name in which they tell you precisely what you want to hear. Be it an apology, an explanation, appreciation, everything you feel you need in order to stop feeling confusion, hurt, or resentment towards them. The letter can be as lengthy as you want. Again, leave absolutely nothing out. Sign it in their name. And then step 4, within 1 week, read the second letter every night before you go to bed. So basically, as I described, but much more descriptive than that. And he says just below this, within a week of beginning this exercise, I had already begun to feel differently about my partner. I felt my retroactive jealousy slowly dissipating. Something has shifted. And so yeah, that's his story on it and what he recommended to do. And for him, it was very, very powerful. So I did this. I remember doing this. I remember everything. And I wish I still had the letters. I know I threw them out when we moved a couple years ago, because I would read the letters to you, or kind of read parts of it. I just remember, there's some personal stuff in there too. But I remember doing that. I was like, okay, if this worked for him, let me write these letters. And so I remember I had just like a little, 50-cent little notebook thing. I opened it up. I had a black pen and I just wrote, but there was a lot of anger in there. And I just remember being like, I can't believe you would do this. Were you not, thinking when you did this? What are people going to think when they find out that you did this? Da 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 da. What are they going to think about me? What are they going to? Just a lot of anger, a lot of rage. I hope you felt special in this moment. I hope you and that person had your little special connection that you'll keep for the rest of your lives. I remember those words, writing them, and just the anger coming out on the page. And then it was time for me to write the response letter, my partner to me. Now, the way I see my partner, I see her as somebody very loving, very calm, cool, collected, very compassionate, just filled with love, basically. Filled with love for me. She's very non-judgmental. She's not a jealous person at all. And so I definitely see that in her. And so when I really channeled her, I basically said that let me write this letter really how I think she would respond. Not necessarily like what I need to hear, kind of what I need to hear, but how do I think she would really respond if I just laid all that out there? And so I wrote down, like literally kind of just closed my eyes and the words that kind of came to me. And it was just like, it was like an apology almost, like, I'm sorry that you feel this way. Like, again, this was something that happened in my past. I didn't think this was, wrong at the time. Obviously, if I knew you were going to be the person for me, I would have wished we would have just been with each other and that's it, but that's not how life goes. I don't regret anything because doing this eventually led me to you, and I know that if I hadn't done this, no matter what happened or had these situations, it would have never, the universe wouldn't have lined things up for us to meet. So in a way, like, I'm happy that all this took place. I'm sorry that it's hurting you so much, but just know, like, my mind is not there. My mind is always here with you now, and I want to move forward here right now with you. And it was very powerful, those words coming out of me onto the page, because it almost felt like it wasn't me writing, it was her writing, and being able to channel that response. And I just remember reading that response and being like, wow, like, this is the truth, right? These are the facts. Like, she's here with me now, and the stuff that happened in the past that happened, there's nothing I can do about it, but I can look at it almost in appreciation, because had it not happened, we would not be together. Simple as that. Simple as that. If any of that had changed along the way, and I could even trace it back. This happened, which led to this, which eventually led to this, which led to that, which led to me doing this to her, and now we met. And anything along the lines that changed, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have happened. So it made me look at it in a very different way. It was very powerful. Now, I'm not saying this had me overcome retroactive jealousy and I was instantly cured, but again, it opened my eyes to more ideas, to more ways to look at things. It kind of, again, like we talked about, kind of chomped through the ego a little bit, and I saw things with a little more compassion, a little more clarity. And Zach recommends in the book to read the letter before you go to bed each night. I know I didn't do that every night because we were living together and she slept next to me, so I was kind of like, I don't want to, read this, da-da-da. And so I remember I kind of put it away. Every once in a while I'd go to it and kind of read it, but I remember I put it away. But what was the most powerful thing for me was a few months later, when I actually completely overcame retroactive jealousy, I stumbled upon the letters again. And I read the letter that I wrote to her. How angry I was, how judgmental I was, how scared I was, how all this fear was in this letter. And I could really look at this letter from a non-judgmental standpoint and read it and just be like, wow, look how far I've come. Like, look how much anger, how much rage was inside me. Look at all this that I put on this piece of paper, what I thought of my partner, what I thought mattered, what I thought. And I looked at it and I just thought, I'm in this peaceful place now where none of that matters to me, what I put on there. Like, I found peace, I found comfort. I've come so far in just a few months. Look where I was then versus now. Complete transformation. And so, like, I would read that every once in a while, even again, since I'd over, and just be so proud of myself to see how far I'd come, to see how far I might come, to relate it back to how I felt my worst versus how I felt now. And I'd read the response that I wrote through the words of my partner and be like, this is exactly how I feel now. Like, this is exactly how I see it now. I wrote it down on a piece of paper how I should feel, and this is exactly how I do now. It was very transformative, that whole process, but specifically after the fact, when I go back and I'd read it, I'd just be like, this is unbelievable. Look how far I've come. All these things that I thought mattered, all these judgments I placed on things, all these labels I placed on things. And here I am now. I can think about the same things and be detached from it, not feel that emotional pain, that emotional response. Very powerful. If you haven't tried this exercise, I'd recommend you do it, either to help you, or just for the fact that when you overcome RJ, you can look back and be like, look how far I've come. Look at the stuff I put in this letter, all these emotions that I put into this letter, and now I'm so much feeling more peace, clarity, peace of mind, whatever it is. And it's going to be an awakening experience for you 100%. So that's my take on the 2-letter exercise. I think it's very powerful no matter which way you use it for, but I think it's very powerful if you can really channel. You know your partner, of course, especially if you've been with them for a long time or been with them a lot. You know them, you know their words, you know these things. You can really channel them. What is it that they would say to you in response? In a compassionate manner, what would they say to you? And write that down and read it to yourself, and it'll start clicking for you. It definitely will start clicking for you. And then again, it'll be that thing you'll move back on look back on and see it and be like, look how far I've come. This is unbelievable. And I would have kept those letters forever and still look back on them now if I couldn't, just be like, wow, just be kind of impressed with myself almost. But I can remember we were moving at the time, and I was going through my drawer, and like I saw the letters there, and I was like, you know what? I don't really have a place to put these, and I don't really want my wife to like stumble upon and be like, whoa, you're angry, what's going on here? I'll be like, you know, no, I don't need to hold on to anything from the past like that. Let me get rid of them. And so I did. But yeah, try this out. Buy Zach's book. It's on Amazon, $9.99. He's got a website, retroactivejealousy.com. He's got a YouTube page also. I think it's just his name, Zachary Stockill. He posts a few times a week there. Yeah, he's got workbooks. He's got a bunch of other things. But yeah, support him if you can. You know, if you can't afford a course or anything like that, buy his book. He's got a couple books. Every time he releases some type of book, I always buy it. Not all the time do I read it, but I just buy it to kind of support him, because what he's doing is really, really awesome stuff. So try out that exercise. Check out Zach's stuff. I think it'll be extremely beneficial for you in kicking some butt when it comes to retroactive jealousy, taking your life back, taking your relationship back, because that's what you absolutely deserve, and you can do it. So I'm going to leave you with that for now. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button so we can get out to more people. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Click the notification bell so you are alerted every time I post a new video. Check out the links in the description below before you go. Grab some freebies. I got a free Facebook group down there. A free meditation as well you can download to help calm some of the anxiety around retroactive jealousy. Of course, I have my courses and other services down there as well. If you'd like more help in overcoming RJ, I'm here for you. That's it for now. See you in the next video.